The theater was silent, every heartbeat echoing in the room as a young boy stepped nervously onto the massive stage. His clothes were simple, worn, and too big for his small frame. The judges exchanged quick glances, not knowing what to expect. The boy's trembling hands gripped the microphone tightly, and in that moment, it felt as though the entire world was holding its breath. Then, with a voice so pure and haunting, he began to sing, "Hotel California." Within seconds, the audience was frozen in awe. His tone carried both pain and beauty, telling a story that was bigger than just music. It was a cry from the soul. This boy, Miguel, was only 12 years old. He had grown up in a small village in the Philippines, where life was a daily struggle. His father had passed away when Miguel was only 5, and his mother worked tirelessly, taking odd jobs to feed him and his younger sister. Every night, Miguel would sing to his sister to help her sleep, his soft voice being the only comfort she knew. Over time, singing became more than a hobby. It became Miguel's escape, his hope, his way of dreaming beyond poverty. When the chance to audition for a talent show came to his town, Miguel's mother didn't have enough money for the trip. She sold her wedding ring, the only piece of jewelry she had ever owned, just to get her son a ticket to the city. Miguel promised her he would sing with all his heart, not just for himself, but for their family and every child who dreamed of a better life. As he stood on the stage, fear crept into his mind. What if the judges laughed? What if his voice cracked? What if he wasn't enough? But then he remembered his sister's face, her small smile when he sang to her, and the sacrifice his mother had made. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and poured everything he had into the song. His voice shook the room with emotions far beyond his age. Every word carried the weight of his struggles, his dreams, and his pain. The audience felt it too, tears rolled down cheeks, hands clutched at hearts. The judges, usually stern and unshakable, were unable to hold back their emotions. One judge covered her mouth, sobbing openly, while another wiped tears as his hands trembled on the golden buzzer. The performance wasn't just about music anymore, it was about resilience, sacrifice, and the power of hope. When Miguel reached the final note, the entire hall erupted into a standing ovation. The applause was deafening, but all Miguel could hear was his own heartbeat and the thought of his mother waiting at home. Then, suddenly, the sound of the golden buzzer filled the arena. Confetti rained down as the judges stood, crying uncontrollably, clapping for the boy who had just changed their hearts forever. Backstage, Miguel couldn't believe what had happened. He clutched the photograph of his father he always carried in his pocket, whispering, "We did it, Papa." When he finally saw his mother, she wrapped him tightly in her arms, both of them crying tears of joy. That moment wasn't just a victory, it was a promise that dreams, no matter how impossible they seem, can come true with faith, courage, and love. Miguel's journey was not easy. He had faced hunger, loneliness, and the constant fear of failure. But he taught the world a lesson. Sometimes the most beautiful voices are born from the deepest pain. His story spread across the globe, inspiring millions of people who felt forgotten or hopeless. He proved that you don't need wealth or fame to touch hearts, you just need honesty, passion, and the courage to share your gift. By the end of that night, Miguel was no longer just a poor boy from a small village. He became a symbol of hope. His version of Hotel California was remembered not just as a performance, but as a moment when music and humanity collided. And though the judges cried uncontrollably, those tears were not of sadness, but of joy, for they had witnessed a miracle born from a boy who dared to dream.